Hey, welcome back. This is something that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. As you probably know, I purchased my second Trans Am, kit number 2, in March 2022. So it's been quite a number of years since I bought this car. And you'll also remember that I sold my last one, kit number 1, in October 21 to Colin Furs. So what I wanted to do in this video is just give you a big update with regards to how everything is currently going at the moment with the build, and also some of the things that I've done wrong even on this second build. There's a few things that I do actually regret, things that I should have really done a little bit different. So I'm going to be sharing that with you in this video. And these are things I've not really talked about before. I've not mentioned these in any of the videos. So there's things that I wish I would have done a little bit different. So I'm going to tell you what they are. Also, I'm going to be giving you some big updates along the way in this video with things that, again, I've not mentioned before in any other video. So grab yourself a coffee or tea or whatever. It's going to be a fairly long video because I've got lots of stuff to cover. We're going to go through the entire project and I'm going to explain how the project is coming along. I mean, I know I've uploaded videos, but there's lots of stuff going on behind the scenes that I don't ever put in video. So this is going to be a major update video. So you know exactly what's going on and how things are coming along with the build. So let's crack into it. So the very first video I'm just going to quickly talk about is this one here, which is Colin Furs bought my Night Rider kit car. So you probably remember this. This was 28th of October 2021. Now, I'm really glad that Colin bought my car because that meant I actually got to meet him twice. The first time he came over was to look at the car, to see the car, and, you know, we had a chat about it. And then we emailed back and forth for a few weeks, and then we come to a deal, and then he came down, I think about 6 weeks later, and actually picked the car up, and that was this video here. So if you've not seen this video, it's quite a good video actually. It's just, we have a bit of a laugh, you know. Much as I was really disappointed to sell the car, I was, because you saw how much work I put into the first kit. It was really nice. So I was really sad to see it go, but at the same time, I felt like it was for the best. It was the best decision at the time. So if you've not already seen this video, it's on my channel. This was October 2021. So then for about 5 or 6 months, I had no kit in my garage and I was trying to decide what to do. And then what happens, I got an email from a friend of mine in January. So literally about 2 months later. And he said to me, he said, Paul, he said, I've got a Trans Am here, a 3rd gen, and he said this would make a really good kit project if you're looking for another one to do. And it's automatic, it's got 15-inch wheels, and that had lots of other things on the car which really did appeal to me. The only thing it didn't have though was a T-bar, so because it was a hardtop. So I thought, oh well, what do I do? You know, it's a hardtop, and the money he was asking for it was pretty good. Bear in mind, this was like over 4 years ago now. The prices of 3rd gen Trans Ams have gone through the roof now. They've just gone crazy. So that was March 2022. That was when I actually bought my second kit. So I went up to the north of England. I purchased the car, and then the first video I did was, you can see here, like the 21st of April. So I'd had the car for about 6 weeks, I think by then, probably a month or so, I can't quite remember, but it was about a month, and that was my first video that I did. So removing all the old interior, and that was part number 1. So if you do want to watch all of these, just go to the playlist and you can watch all of the parts up to part 13. In fact, as far as I know, I'm the only person on YouTube, on the internet, that has documented a full-blown kit project conversion. Although I'm up to part 13. So we're only at part 13 at the moment. I've probably got about another 10 parts left. So we're over halfway through, probably about 65% complete. So I am the only person on the internet which has documented this amount of video coverage on a complete kit build. Some of these videos I really do go into detail. So if you ever want to watch any of the videos, just come back to the playlist and you can watch them here. And this was one of the reasons why I wanted to do another build, is because I wanted to document the entire thing start to finish. I didn't want to just give people a few snippets of doing this and doing that. I really wanted to document the entire thing. And it wasn't only for other people, it was also for myself. Sounds a bit selfish, I know, but I wanted to look back in 25 years time and I wanted to look at the actual process that I followed. So this is something that I wanted to do for myself, but of course, anyone else come to YouTube, to the internet, if they want to build one of these cars, you can of course go through the entire playlist and, and see how you do it, or see how I did it. So that was part number 1, removing all the old interior. That was quite easy to do. There was nothing on there that I really regret, because it was a case of just pulling out all the old interior and then I went from there. And then that brings us on to part number 2, custom exhaust modifications. There's one thing I regret here, which I've not really mentioned about before. When I got the engine bay done a couple of years ago, about 2.5 years ago now, if you remember, I got the engine bay painted, didn't I? And I got all the engine taken out of the car, and I got some other things replaced on the engine. So all the engine was taken apart, it got painted and everything, and then got put back in the car. And one of the things that I put back in the car was I put brand new engine mounts, and that unfortunately raised the engine by a couple of mil, and that then transferred down to the exhaust, and the exhaust was then too close to the base of the car. So when the car went in for paintwork a few months ago, well, it was in for over a year, but I got it back in July this year. So about 4 months ago, I got it back. And one of the extra jobs they had to do was they had to lower the exhaust, because the exhaust was too close to the base of the car, because I'd put new engine mounts in the engine, in the engine bay. So I kind of regret doing that way round. So if you ever do anything like this, just be mindful, you're best to do the engine first and then do the exhaust at the end. I did the exhaust first and then did the engine, and that was kind of a little bit in reverse. I shouldn't have done it like that, but it is what it is. You learn by these things. So that went fairly well. The exhaust is quite good. The other thing I have done on the exhaust modifications is let's just take this one off here, is I cut off the tailpipes. This is something that a lot of people don't bother to do. Now, as far as I know, Kitt did not have tailpipes sticking out the back of his car. He just never ever had that. Now, there may have been 1 or 2 episodes where he had tailpipes sticking out the back of his car, yes. However, so you might be able to see the tailpipes coming out the back of the car. If we can just pause, there you go. And yeah, well, no, that's probably not a very good one. Right, this one's probably, there you go. So you can see that the tailpipes were coming out the back of the car. This was before they made any adjustments. So this is what it looked like when I bought the car. And, it's okay, but the tailpipes aren't supposed to stick out that far. I see these on a lot of Kitt replicas, when people have got these kits, and they just don't look right, in my opinion. Each to their own, but if you look on most of the episodes on Knight Rider, he didn't have long tailpipes sticking out the back of the car. It's all nice and sleek. There's no exhaust coming out the back, and everything is hidden underneath. And that was what Kitt was always like in most of the episodes that I watched. As I said, there might be the odd one here and there, but 99.9% of the time there was no tailpipes. So that's something that I'm pleased that I did. And if we look back, if we go back to see how I've now got them, now you might not have watched this video. If you've not, say it's just how I did the exhaust, but you can see the shape. So what I asked the garage to do was to cut them further back, but also taper the exhaust so that the pipe goes back further, but also the fumes are still coming down, because if you don't taper the exhaust like this, then the fumes can go straight up. So there's more of a chance them now going straight out the back, or maybe down a little bit. So if you do ever do this, especially with a classic or older car, you know, because they are a bit more fumey than modern day cars. So that was what I did for the custom exhaust modifications. And then number 3, the new parts. So this cost me quite a bit of money. I don't regret doing this. The new parts cost me, I think, in fact, you can watch the video and find out, it was over £3,000. One of the things that I find a lot of people don't do when they build their kits is they don't bother spending any time or much effort on the engine bay. And that was something that I didn't want to happen on mine. I wanted to go the extra mile and really make the engine bay look nice and make sure it's sound mechanically, because I see people do this. They build the kits and then they just forget about the engine and they don't really spend much time in the engine bay. So everything else looks nice until you flip the hood, and then it just looks awful. So this is what it was like before I'd done the work. You can see there, look. So it's a little bit dull. It's all dusty and, you know, dirty everywhere. There's muck all everywhere. So the new parts that I ordered cost me, I think, sorry, no, it wasn't £3,000. The cost of the parts came to about £1,200. The labour that I had to pay for a couple of friends of mine to take the engine out and replace everything, that came to about £2,800. So in total, everything came to, I think it was over £4,000. But I do explain in one of the other videos anyway how much everything cost me. So that was part 3. That was the new parts that I had to purchase. I bought a lot of the stuff from Rock Auto. There was a couple of things I had to buy from eBay, but most of the things were from Rock Auto. Great site. I've been using Rock Auto for years. Really, really good. Part number 4 is the clear glass rear hatch. Now, this is something that I'm super proud of, because I could not find one of these anywhere. It was an absolute nightmare to try and find one of these. You would not believe how hard these are to find. Now, I'm in the UK. If you're watching this in another part of the world, maybe somewhere else in Europe or the US, then you might be able to find one much easier. But I'm telling you now, here in the UK, you just can't bloody get them. They're so hard to find. And this was a nightmare. You can see all of the work that I had to do to just get this rear hatch looking good. I had to grind off all of these little brackets and all of these things that was stuck to the rear hatch, because what it is, some of these rear hatches that you buy, they come with different spoilers on them. And again, I talk about this in the video. And these spoilers are attached by different brackets from factory. So they're kind of like welded to the actual, the frame around the edge, like the edging of the rear hatch. And they're an absolute bugger to get off. So this took me quite a while, but it turned out really well. It turned out really nice, because after I'd got everything off, we gave it a good clean. You can see here, yeah, I was really happy with that. So the rear hatch was something that took a long time to find. I think it took me over a year to find one. And it's not just buying a rear hatch, it's actually trying to get it delivered to your house. Because if you're in the UK like I am, and you buy one of these anywhere else apart from your own country, you're going to be paying hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of extra pounds for delivery, and you're just going to get absolutely crucified from like for shipping and postage, and then you've got all the extra import duties as well. So I'm really happy that I found a rear clear hatch. Again, this is something that I don't think a lot of people, a lot of kit builders, take this very seriously, because I see so many kits out there that have got the heater lines at the back, and I think it spoils it. I think Kitt has to have a clear rear hatch. He just does. That is an absolute must-have. So the engine bay upgrades, I then changed the engine bay. So all the new parts that I purchased from Rock Auto, so you can see here, this is the original engine, and then it went into the garage for quite a long time. This is the engine bay after it was painted. So you can see the engine was taken out, it was painted, lots of different things changed, you name it, I changed it. It was a huge job. And look at it now, so much nicer, all nice and clean. So this was what? This was 3 years ago that I did the engine bay. It's crazy. So yeah, the whole thing, I think engine bay plus all the labour, that was like over £4,000, I think, for that. So number 6, how much did the engine bay cost? Yeah, this is where I talk about how much it cost. Yeah, a lot of money, put it that way. But it's one of them things I don't regret, because if I ever did any other car, I would do the exact same thing. Because it's no good you going to a car show, or if someone comes around to look at the car and you pop the bonnet, you pop the hood, and you show them a grubby old engine, it's not going to look very good, is it? So it has to look really good. Do not ever take any shortcuts on the engine bay, because these are the small details that people notice, and these are the things that really separate the people that do an average job and the people that do a superb job of these builds. And especially if you're going to spend a lot of money, don't take any shortcuts. You have to do the engine bay. And this was partly the reason in my first kit why I was a little bit annoyed, because I just couldn't afford to go back and do any more work on the engine bay, because that would have meant the car going back in the garage, and yeah, I'd already spent a lot of money on the car, so I left the engine as it was. And that was one of the things that I learned on my second build, is it had to have a complete restoration of the engine bay and the engine. So where are we? Kit number 7, unboxing and testing Kitt's new scanner. This was a brilliant day, because I bought the new scanner from Night Scanners. You might know the company. You can find them on Facebook. I'm not going to talk too much about them guys. They've got a really good reputation. But I tested it. I rigged it all up in the garage and then tested it. And then you can see it's an LED scanner. You've got halogen or LED. I went for LED again, because the halogen ones just get a little bit too hot, because obviously they've got bulbs. Whereas the LEDs, they don't get as hot, and they also don't draw so much power. So if you are running your car on leisure batteries at car shows and stuff, then yeah, so it looks a little bit strange here, because the bulbs or the LEDs look really round. But once it's on the car and everything else, and you can actually mist these lenses up slightly, and I think that's actually what I did. When I bought this red lens, again, this is like another super tip, this red lens was really clear, so you can easily see the LEDs behind it, and you can make out the actual LEDs specifically, if that makes any sense. So what I decided to do was to just give it a little bit of a rub down. So it looks good. The LED looks good, but it can be improved, and that's what I did. So I rubbed the perspex down slightly just to give it a little bit more of a mist, so it's a little bit darker, if that makes any sense. So that's probably what I'm going to do with the scanner I've got right now. So I'm going to be fitting that in the next couple of months. But it turned out really good. I mean, it's a nice scanner. To the untrained eye, that looks perfect. But after you've watched these scanners for a long time, you do start to pick up just little imperfections in the scanner and the way it scans and how fast, and like the light and everything, the light balance. So that's just something that I'm going to do again for this build. Is I'm just going to get the perspex, and you can do this if you do anything similar to my kit build, is just give it a slight rub with a bit of sandpaper, very, very light rub, because you just want to make it a little bit misty so it's not 100% clear. And that's what I did. And then I just find that the trail is just so much nicer. But we'll talk more about that in another video when I get around to doing the scanner. So the next one was hardtop to T-bar. Now this was a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. I actually bought the T-bar from a guy in Scotland. I'd been talking to this guy for about, I don't know, 6 months, and we were going back and forth, back and forth. The T-bar actually came off a Camaro, a 3rd gen Camaro. It was a 90, no it wasn't, it was an 84 or 85 3rd gen Camaro. And if you know much about these 3rd gens, you'll know that the Camaro 3rd gens are pretty much the same car as the Trans Am 3rd gens, apart from a few panels and a few other bits and bobs. So it's pretty much the same car. So the roof is just a straight swap. So he cut the roof off for me, put it onto a pallet and got it delivered to my house. I mean, all of this took months, and I was going to drive up there to pick it up, but at the time it was around Christmas. I think it was Christmas. We can actually see, because if we open this video up, we can see what date it was. And I'll tell you what happened with this. So I'm on the driveway giving it a bit of a jet wash. Yeah, so this was 2 years ago. So where are we? So April 2023. So that would have meant that over Christmas, so Christmas 2022, and then that takes us into January 2023. I was talking to this guy from Scotland, and I was going to go up there to pick this up and put it in the back of my van. But he had so much snow that year, he said that you couldn't get anywhere near his farm, near his unit. He was on like an industrial unit somewhere. And he said he was snowed in. So I couldn't get up there. Well, no one could really get up there for weeks, for like a good couple of months. So this then prolonged everything. So by the time he could actually send it out and a delivery truck could actually come and pick it up from his unit, I think it must have been about March. Hence, you can see here where I actually made the video in the 18th of April 23. So I think this was delivered about 3 weeks before this. So this took me much longer to get this, but it wasn't holding me up because I didn't put the car in the garage to get like all the paintwork until the following year anyway. So it didn't really make too much difference, but it came up really well. I gave it a good clean, and I've got a picture of it at the end here where I've cleaned it all up. So this was then all ready to go on the car. So I then had to give this to the garage that did the paint work, did the body work. And the guy actually had put braces in the roof as well. So if you ever get one of these, and this probably goes for any other roof that you ever buy, make sure it's braced up when you buy it, because otherwise it's going to lose all of its shape. I mean, this is kind of like a standard practice really for most people. You know, if you take a roof off a car, it is kind of common sense really for most people. You have to brace it up, weld it in different places so the roof doesn't lose shape. And this is what the guy did. So yeah, I was really pleased. It turned up, and then I spent a couple of weeks giving it a good clean up. There was still some glass in the top. There was still some other bits and pieces I had to take out, a little bit of rubber and stuff. But yeah, it turned out really good in the end. And that takes us on to number 9. So exterior complete and ready for paint. So what I did here, I had to do some more work on the body. So you can see the new engine bay was all in. And what I also had to do was I had to put the rear hatch on, which I said. I had to do the engine bay, which was all done. And I had to do some other stuff on the inside. So I just had to get everything ready for when it went to the paint shop. There were some other bits, I had to do. So where are we now? So this was in the 12th of June 2023. Now the car wasn't picked up for another 11 months after this. So what I decided to do was I did another video, which was part 10. I think I did another couple of jobs just to get things completely ready for the paint shop. And then it went into the paint shop in May 2024. So about a year and a half ago. And this was where, I mean, it's just insane. If you watch this video, you'll see what I mean. It's absolutely insane. They changed the roof. So it went from a hard top to a T-bar. So this is the full conversion. And again, this is the only video on the internet, as far as I know. I mean, I've looked everywhere. Before I decided to do the roof conversion on my 3rd gen, I looked everywhere trying to find a full video showing me how to change the roof, because I thought about doing it myself. I had some friends in the local area that had a garage, and I thought about taking it there and we could all do it. But I thought if I could watch a video on how to do it, I could maybe get some pointers. And no, I just couldn't find anything. So I ended up leaving it. And then I thought the guys in the garage will just do it for me, because they put that on the price of what I had to pay. So that was the T-bar conversion. Yeah, it turned out really, really good. And then after that, part number 12 was the full paint job, basically. So this was before it went in the paint shop. And then it got primed, and then it come back to my house over 13 months later. Now, I will just put this out there. They could have given me the car back sooner, but I could not locate the correct seals for the T-bar and the rear hatch and the doors. So I basically held up the job. They could have got this back to me within about 4 months, probably about 5 months. But this took longer, and that was my fault. It wasn't their fault. And then by the time I did actually get the seals to give to the guys, they had other stuff booked in. So then I had to wait for about 2 or 3 more months before they could do the car. But I mean, the guys did an amazing job. This was a company called, you can see there, look, ATM Engineering. They are currently in Durham in Norfolk, here in England. Now, I don't know how long those guys are going to stay in business for. I mean, if you're watching this years and years after I've made the video, they might have relocated somewhere different, or they might not be doing it anymore. Who knows? I don't know. But at the moment, these guys are really busy, and yeah, they take on lots of different classic cars, American cars. They take on lots of different restoration projects. And I mentioned to them a number of years ago about my kit, and they were really keen to get it in and do it. Yeah, they've did an amazing job on it. It turned out really, really good. So that was that one. And then the last section was I did a video showing the car on my driveway when it come back. Well, in fact, this was the video when it got taken away, and then so May 2024, that was when it got taken away, and then it came back 14 months later. So you can see here, it turns up at my house. Now we have moved house, so this is why it doesn't look the same. Here we go. So we're pushing it back on my driveway. So this is where we are right now. So it looks a little bit different from the last house. I mean, look at that. Oh man, that's just, do you know what? I can't wait to get it back on the driveway to do some work on it, because it just looks unreal. I don't think you can really appreciate how good the paintwork is until you see it in the flesh. It is just unbelievable. So yeah, it looks really good. Really happy with it. I mean, look at that. It just looks like glass. It's absolutely beautiful. I think I do lift the hood. So now the engine bay got a little bit dusty, so it doesn't look anywhere near as clean as it should. I mean, it still looks quite nice, as you'd probably agree, but this should look much nicer than that. It's because it's been sat in the garage for like over a year, just getting dusty and dirty. So at this point, it needed a really good clean, and I think I did actually clean it about a week later. But that's where we are at the moment. In fact, I've done a few more jobs to it since this video. I mean, this video was taken 3 months ago. I've done quite a few jobs to him since he's been back. And that is where he is right now. Now, another thing I regret is, and this is my fault, I didn't measure my damn garage, did I? When we moved house, I eyeballed the garage thinking, yeah, it's going to fit, it's going to be fine. I just didn't think that Kitt was 5 meters long. I just didn't think. When we bought the house, I opened the garage and thought, oh yeah, that's definitely going to be big enough for Kitt. I can get him in there, nose on and everything. But no, I can't fit the nose on. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It is what it is. It's one of them things. So where we are right now is where I'm currently doing the work to Kitt. However, I probably will next year, well, I won't say too much right now, but we're going to possibly think about moving again next year. Now, if you don't know my story over the last 10 years or so, we've taken on quite a number of different houses over the years as like renovation projects. The first house was 2014. That took us 4 years. We then took on another house. We sold that, bought another one in 2018. That took 5 years, like complete renovation. And then we moved into this house a year and a half ago, and this was a full renovation. So we're now about 70% finished on this house, on this bungalow. But the difference to where we are right now is that I've only got a single garage on this house, and a single garage is fine, but it just isn't quite long enough. And that's just, that's just one of them things. I mean, yeah, that's just one of them things. But we'll crack on and just do what we can. So this is where we are right now. Now, moving forward from here into next year, my plan is to, of course, get Kitt finished as soon as I can. I want to get him finished because I want to take him to car shows and all of that. But I also want to get him finished because I've got other projects that I want to do on my channel. I've got other cars that I want to build. I've got other crazy vehicles and stuff that I've made and I've put together. And I've got my mobility scooter video I need to do, part 2 of that. So I've got lots of other things I need to make and I need to do. But Kitt at the moment is the priority, because I've got lots of small jobs I need to do on Kitt. And these are things I really do need to do over the next few months, and Christmas is in a couple of weeks. So over the next 4 to 5 weeks, over Christmas and the New Year, some of the jobs I need to do are a little bit dull. They're not the most fun jobs to do, but they have to be done. This is just the foundational sort of work to get Kitt looking good, and then we can start to focus on things that are a bit more fun and exciting to do, things like the interior, the carpet, electronics, and all that type of stuff. So that's a bit of an update as to where we are. The things that I regret on this second build so far is the exhaust. I really messed up on the exhaust because I had to go and change that afterwards. The other thing I wish I had done slightly different is I wish I had waited to do the engine bay when the car went in for a full respray, because that would have just been so much easier. I could have given the car to the garage that did the full paint job like a few months ago, and I could have given them the car with no engine in. So I could have left the engine at the garage in my local area and then gave the paint shop the car with no engine in, and they could have painted everything, possibly even put it on a rotisserie, and spun the car round, took all the wheels off and spun everything over, spun everything round, and and been really, really thorough. I don't know if they could have been that thorough. I don't know, possibly. But with no engine in, there wouldn't have been that much weight. So with no engine in, they could have gave the engine bay a really good blast, a sandblast, got rid of all the rust, got rid of all the crap. And as it happens, the engine bay's nice. The engine bay is nice, but that's probably the other thing I would have done different. I would have took the engine out or left it at the garage, got a full paint job on the car, and then got the car delivered back at the workshop, back at the garage, and got the engine put in. In my own defense, though, the reason why I didn't do that is because I didn't want my car with a brand new paint job going back in the garage to have the engine put back in while the paintwork was brand new. So that was partly the reason why I did it the way I did it. Now, in a perfect world, I would have done what I've said. I would have took the engine out, put it into the paint shop. But at the time, I decided to do it the way I've done it. And in hindsight, I could have maybe waited and just gave them the car with no engine so they could have painted everything. But there you go. So a little bit of regret not doing it that way, but equally, I may have regretted it if the car would have gone back to the garage and they would have damaged the paintwork when they put the new engine in the engine bay. So who knows? So exhaust, engine bay. The other thing you could say that I should have really done is held out for a T-bar, because all the extra work that this has cost me and the extra money, it's probably cost me about an extra £2,000 so far by converting the hardtop to a T-bar. I mean, it looks perfect. It looks absolutely brilliant now, but it's taken me a long time to get here. So they're the three main things that I kind of regret: exhaust, the engine bay, not doing the engine bay all at the same time as the rest of the car, and also the T-bar. But you live and learn, don't you? You live and learn. I probably will never be doing one of these cars ever again for myself. I just don't think I will, because it takes up far too much time. So I don't think I'll ever really have to worry about any of that and learning from any of those mistakes, because I don't think I'll ever be building one for myself ever again. It just takes too long. It's just a lot of work, a lot of stress, and a lot of hassle, a lot of storage, because you've got parts, you've got the mechanical side of it, you've got the transportation, you got taking it to and from the garage, giving it an MOT, and it goes on and on and on. But it's all good though. I don't regret a single thing. We're going to finish the car. because that is my mission in the next 12 to 18 months, is to finish the car. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to finish it as quick as I can, but I don't have an endless pot of money. I can't just chuck money at the car and get it finished, because even if I had all the money, you know, tons and tons and tons of money, it's not just that, it's the time that these things are going to take, because you have to make sure that when you do certain jobs, you do them in a specific order, and you also do things in such a way that it's not only more convenient, but also you're not going to be wasting your time further down the road. So I need to make sure that I change certain components and certain things before all the interior dash goes in. I won't go into that. I've got well, it's the heater matrix. I've got to do the heater matrix. I've got to do the driver's side window, and I need to sort the electronics out. But these are things that just take time. So it doesn't matter how much money you've got sometimes, these things just take time. Unless you've got, or unless you put it into a garage and there was 25 people all working on this 12 hours a day, it might get done in 3 weeks. But, you know, generally that is not going to happen, is it? So that's where we are right now. My mission and my target is to get it finished in 2026. So it's the 8th of December right now, 2025, and it's been 2020, March 2022. So it'll be 4 years, I think. Yeah, it'll be 4 years in March that we've been building the car. A little bit longer than I'd like, but also some people never finish these cars either. Some people just build these forever and never actually finish them. That is not going to be me. I always finish my cars, and I will be finishing it in a decent time frame. So next year is when I plan to finish it. If it isn't finished in 2026, there will literally only be a couple of little small things that I need to do. But next year, 2026, is when we're going to make some massive progress on the build. Also, I just want to add something else that I've got coming up in 2026 is I'm going to be launching a brand new website for Funky Projects. So I will explain more about that in the next few weeks. So this is a brand new website where I'll be uploading all of my videos and everything else, and there's lots of other great stuff that I'm going to be uploading there that isn't on my YouTube channel. So I'll be giving you some information about that over the next few weeks. Of course, if you're watching this video after Christmas 2025, then the website should already be active and live. And if that's the case, the website link will be on my YouTube channel here somewhere. So that is just an update video. I wanted to give you, a really good in-depth sort of rundown on exactly what is going on, because it's been nearly 4 years since I've bought the car now, but we're not far off complete. I would say we're probably 70% finished. But the good news is the last 30% is the most fun. That's the best part, because it's the interior, it's the electronics. We've done all the grunt work, the engine bay, the body work, the exterior paint. We've done all those jobs, which take so long, so much work and so much bloody money as well. So we will get there in 2026. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any comments, if there's anything else you think I've missed out, or if there's anything else you want to know about the project, or maybe there's other cars you'd like to see me build after this one, please don't say build car from Knight Rider. Yeah, I am not going to do another Kitt after this for myself. I can't. I don't have the brain power to do this all over again for myself. It's just not going to happen, I'm afraid. So this is my last Kitt I'm going to do, but this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one, and we're going to keep hold of this for for a long time. But if there's any other cars you'd like to see me build, leave a comment and let me know. I've got some other projects that I'm going to do over the next couple of years, but I'm probably going to do some more cars as well over the next so many years. I just need to have a bit of a think about what I want to do, what I want to take on. I've got some ideas. You probably know, if you follow my Facebook page and Instagram, you probably know what I've talked about in the past. But at the moment, let's focus on Kitt. Let's get Kitt finished, get him finished, looking good, and then we'll go from there. So yeah, leave a comment. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see me build, or any additional gadgets and anything else that you'd like to see in Kitt. I've got some really cool electronics coming up. I won't say too much about that, but honestly, state-of-the-art electronics coming into Kitt. He's going to look absolutely incredible. So thanks for following along. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, share it if you like, and look out for some more videos coming up very soon. Take care.